Alright guys, this is mdunbar with TNO, the neighborhood organization, and flemomedia, and today we are going to be making a beat, and then looking in the next couple of weeks at how we did so. So let's dive right in, okay? Sounds good, let's do it. Hello guys, happy Friday. Today we are going to be diving into our Logic session here. So we're going to be starting from the beginning. We're going to be taking a look at a screen recording of a recent session I've done, doing a really quick 10-minute beat. Okay. So the software we're using today is going to be Logic Pro X. So this is available on the Apple App Store, but most of what we're going through can be applied to any digital audio workstation. Logic Pro is a great software for arranging tracks, using Midi for creating ideas and getting something ready. It does offer a great range of mixing and mastering tools. It's still a fully capable digital audio workstation, but I do find myself wanting to create a lot of the beats, arrange a lot of things, use a lot of virtual instruments in Logic, and then carry over a lot of things into Pro Tools, where I prefer to do editing. That being said, these resources are extremely hard to come by and can be very expensive. So anything you learn from this video today can be applied to any type of audio workstation you have, whether that is a free version of FL Studio, if that is a brand new running version of Ableton, or if that is the free GarageBand on the laptop you have. It's all going to work perfectly fine for any of these situations. It's all just about you getting to make music and getting to that point, okay? So let's dive right in. We're going to take a look at a screen recording of a recent session. I'm mdunbar. You're watching the Logic tutorial video series from Flemomedia and TNO, the neighborhood organization. Here we are starting off. So this is what your basic Logic session is going to look like when you pull it up, okay? It's going to be blank except for a window showing you a selection of tracks. So these are going to be different types here. So you see there's software instrument, there's external MIDI, there's audio. We're going to create an audio track. So we have two here. I had one pre-saved in there just to make sure that the session was working. But now we're going to go into my folder here. It's in a hard drive, it's in a sessions folder, and we're going to find some samples, okay? Here's a solid sample list. We're going to go to breaks. This is where I keep all my drum breaks and grooves. Going to go for some chill drums. After sampling a few here, we're going to be just simply dragging in the file onto the audio track we've already created, okay? Session. Love it. Session. Session. So now that we've dropped that in our session, we drag it to the very, very beginning, and then I'm going to keep looking for different sounds. We're going to go to melodies. We're going to look for a good melody that's going to match this kind of simple drum loop. So far all we've done is created an audio track and dragged in a WAV file. So all you need for this is your Logic session, open it, create one audio file, audio track, drop in your WAV file. Now here you can either create a second track by reapplying that plus button and that menu will show up, and you'll get the option to create a second track, or you can just drag the audio track in, and it'll automatically give you a selection if you want to create this new track. So I'm shifting the tempo there. That's what that adjusting the 101 or the 120 down to 101 was, just for a little more kind of groovy hip hop vibe, a little slower. Now I'm stretching the tracks using elastic audio here. So I'm pressing that infinity sign that then turns blue, and I'm dragging it to the extent of an 8-bar loop. So after stretching them to match the same 101 BPM, they sound really good as a back and forth section here. So we're going to create a virtual instrument, a software instrument in Logic here. And I'm going to open up a free synthesizer you can get yourself called Tyrell by a company UHE. UHE. Now the link for that will be in the description of this video. So feel free to go find this free great synthesizer, and you can mess around with some sounds yourself.
I'm gonna grab a free
now
synth.
I'm pitching my original melody here. All I'm doing is adding a pitch shifting plugin, which comes stock in Logic. You'll find it in the selection there on the track, and I'm tuning it down a couple semitones, a couple semitones up, a couple semitones down, seeing what feels right, and then I'm changing the situation with the timing here. So it affects the audio differently whether you're using vocals, drums, or pitch tracking. After adding some EQ, I'm rolling off some low end and taking off some high end, adding some strange mids, just for a different vibe. And then on our synthesizer, we're going to go through some presets here. Here we're playing our brass sound using a Midi keyboard. Now, if you don't have a Midi keyboard, you can feel free to hit Command K, and it will bring up a keyboard window in Logic that you can play using the keys on your laptop. So you don't even need an external keyboard to be able to record, whether it's piano sounds or the synthesizers, or this situation it's a brass synthesizer. So you don't even need a MIDI keyboard, as you see in the videos. So we're laying a little melody down that's going to match our original loop and sit nicely in the drums. So I'm just retaking that, doing a second layer. You can record directly over top of your original track. It's going to be no problem. And it gives you take options. So where it has the arrow and it says 2, that means I could select that and go back to that original first take if I so choose. So now we've got 3 tracks. We're already starting to sound like a song a little bit here. So I'm going into the MIDI editor window. For that, I press Command 4.
Alright.
Command 4 brings up another window that specifically shows you the MIDI for the track you're on, and just gives you a better view of the grid to dial in the notes exactly how you'd like it. So I'm just going through here and adjusting the rough performance of the second take there to match exactly what I was thinking when I was going into the recording. Sometimes it doesn't map out exactly how you want, just the way it is. Obviously, it's best to get a great performance and then not have to do a lot of editing, but situations like this, when you got 10 minutes and you're trying to make something quick, editing is always your friend. So instead of lining some things up exactly to the beat here, which looks like it would work or be obvious, instead I'm leaving some room so it has a slightly more live played feel. This can also be achieved by quantizing and then reducing the strength. So instead of using 100% and keeping it directly quantized to the grid, that's what it says there on the corner there, time quantize, that Q. So if you select all your audio, if you select all your MIDI and then quantize with that button, like we're doing here, let's quantize it all to the grid, and it's directly on. So now I'm selecting a different setting on the same synthesizer here. Just really diving through these plugins. That's the great thing about some of these free synthesizers is the presets are so creative and so out there that sometimes it's just exactly what you need right off the cuff. Sometimes it's not. So instead we're going to switch over to another synthesizer here. This is the built-in Logic sampler, ESX24. Sorry, that's EXS24. Just kind of fine-tuning. So I'm still trying to find the correct sound in the sampler here. I've copied my original MIDI track down. So now both of these tracks have the same MIDI passing through. And all I have to do is select the settings on the channel I want, and it'll change that MIDI sound, the kind of blank sound we're going to have, to be whatever section I have. So if I go deep bass here, we're going to get our nice deep bass sound to play off the rest of the track. And instead of replaying it or having to write in some MIDI notes, I already have the root notes of that original brass section that I just played. So I'm going to go in and just edit a couple notes to kind of fit the bass vibe more. Look at these together. So that's still the same Command 4, but if you select more MIDI tracks, you'll be able to view as many as you select in the MIDI editor window. So I'm going back to my sampler folder. Excuse me. And I'm going through percussion. I'm going into percussion here. I'm going to look for some loops. I'm going to look for tuning. Okay, so we've grabbed our percussion file, and we're just going to drop it back into our session here. Throw it into the front. We're going to time align it. Logic is great for that. It's a really simple and quick way to throw down samples and layer quick ideas. It really doesn't, it's not difficult to do, and I mean, already in 10 minutes, you can kind of see, and you could probably do something similar to this fairly easily. And I highly encourage you to get out there, download a version of Logic, and try your best. Or get the free GarageBand and have a blast with it. Even if you're on Windows, there's a bunch of great free recording software out there. Just do a simple Google search of free recording software on Windows, and you'll find like unlimited great tools that you can use. So I'm simply making a bus insert, or sorry, a send. I'm sending out to a bus number 1, which I'm adding a reverb onto, so that the part of the signal that's coming off of our percussion loop here is being sent into a bus Flow bus is just a name for like a space that you can shoot out audio, similar to a track, but without that track on it. So now that's just getting the reverb. I'm going back to the original synthesizer, and I'm adding on some of that same reverb, keeping it very simple. One reverb is enough for this, 5-track, kind of 10-minute beat. And we're pretty much there. So this is kind of all the layers that you typically need. We've got some drums, we've got some percussion, we've got a nice classic sample, we've layered it with some very cool brass sounds, we've got a deep bass in there, and that's essentially where we're at. So thank you guys so much for checking out some of this video. We hope you got a grasp on some of the basics of making a quick beat in Logic. That was only 10 minutes. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to dive way further into it, starting from the beginning over again, and really show you step by step how to do this through every single layer, adding in key commands, adding in proper signal flow, making sure you know the ins and outs of each of the instruments you're using. We're going to cover it all in this video series. Flemomedia, TNO, the neighborhood organization. I'm Morgan Dunbar. Thank you for watching. Happy Friday.